Is the air different tonight? I notice, I wonder. That's one thing I never want to give away to anybody, is wonder. In this space where we have prayed for so many years, the air shimmers. There's a tremulousness of human beings as we gather again. We are shy, we've forgotten what it is to be social. What it is to be gathered in a place. A humble reply, this gathering, a humble reply to the tumult of the week. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Rabbi Mira Rivera, and this is Ariel Corman and Jerry Corman on piano. Rabbi Diane Kohler-Esses is here with us. She will regale us with Torah wisdom. Perry Wolfman on vocals, and Rich Stein. He grows roots in that space because that is his spot. Natalia and our sound team bringing us together on this Shabbat. Sonorous heavens above, distant rumblings from afar, pretend vastness and greatness, an immense power of nature, continuing creation. But hear a pause, as Abraham Joshua Heschel says. Suddenly, when we pause to pray, we are ashamed of our clashes and our complaints in the face of tacit greatness in nature. It is so embarrassing to live. How strange we are in this world, and how presumptuous our doings. There's only one response that we can maintain is gratefulness witnessing wonder. So welcome to our Avodah Shebalev. The only creation you need to do now is plumb deep inside. Dai dai da da dai da dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai da 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 dai, dai dai dai, dai da dai, yai dai da da dai, yai. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. We say, welcome angels. Welcome angels. Welcome these better celestial beings that are our beings. So if you're following the Siddur in your hands, it's page 6. Welcome to our Zoom friends. Windows.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yai dai dai. Go out, they say, go out. When the sun begins to change, our people used to go out to the edges of the town, dressed in white, with friends, with teachers. They welcomed Shabbat. So go and sing. לכו נרננה לאדוני נריע לצור ישנו נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמן Divine hand firm on earth's edges. נברך לפני אדוני עושנו, כי הוא אלוהינו, ואנחנו עם מריתו וצום ידו. היום אם בקולו תשמעו.
40 שנה אקוט בדור, ואומר עם טועה לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרכי, אשר נשבעתי ואפי אם יבון אל מנוחתי.
Kabbalat Shabbat, receiving those sounds that I loved as they passed below my building. I always used to think they're going to Mount Sinai, they're going to the hospital. They're going to the hospital. This is the sound of the city. Shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai, shir chadash. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai baruch shemo. Basru miyom leyom yeshuato. השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומרום יעלה שנה לכל אשר בו כל הצייתי כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בעמים, David, Abul Adonai b'nei Elim, Abul Adonai, Kavod va'oz. Abul Adonai, Kevod Shemo, Abul Adonai, V'adrat Kodesh,
Ol Adonai al hamayim,
El HaKavod Hivim, Adonai, al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai, Ba'koach, Ay, 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 Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shober arazim, Vayshaber Adonai et arzei halebanon, Vayakidem kemo egel Lebanon, Vesirion, כמו בן ראמים, איי איי איי,
כל אדוני חוצר אליו אורש,
כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש, כל אדוני יכול אל הילות, ההרות ובהיכלו, כולו אומר כבוד, איי איי איי, אדוני למה הוא יושב וישב, אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני בקטם ובשלום, איי איי איי, ay 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 the body reverberates the echo. Baruch Shem, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Ba'ed. That which we say sotto voce, that we say, we whisper, a whisper. At Romemu, we raise.
Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto
Leolam Va'ed. Baruch sit up. We are settled in this house. Once seated, we allow the bands of rest to come and descend on our eyes. Once seated, if we invite the bands of rest to descend upon our eyelids, we take note of sounds, ambient sounds. Would there be another ambulance taking somebody's beloved to be cared for? Taking note of sounds sweeping in the outside world. The promise of enticement I left at the door. As I sit, I'm aware of the soles of my feet sweeping up, passing through restless limbs. I scan my limbs from the gentle tremor of wanting to do to that gentle tremor of laying open. Moving breath and mind, breathing in and out. Our sages said to sit with koved rosh, with a head. Is that a head that is heavy, or is that a head that is so full of longing and light? Breathing in and out in silence.
A poem by Romemu member Rich Orloff. Wisdom visits me on Friday evening and says, consider the possibility you're okay. Consider the possibility you're welcome here. Consider the possibility that this moment is a blessing. Consider the possibility that God loves you. Consider the possibility that God accepts you as you are, knowing you're human, expecting you to be nothing more, believing your presence is a gift to the world. Consider the possibility that the challenge of life may be to let go of all the lies you've absorbed and to believe an inspired truth, almost too overwhelmingly beautiful to believe. Most of all, consider the possibility that the divine does not demand that you believe any of this. Consider the possibility that the divine offers, not demands. The divine offers a place for you to heal. The divine offers you home.
consider the possibility that we would not be in person. Consider the possibility that we would not be connected to all these windows of the heart, windows into people's lives. Consider the possibility that my daughter would be living somewhere else and not beside me as she is today. Consider the possibility of making new relationships again. Consider the possibility of learning a new tune, a new melody, a 2-year-old melody by Rabbi Noam Lerman. Likrat kala ne Shabbat Kabbalat lecha dodi likrat kala ne Shabbat ne Kabbalat yada shamor bezachor בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם מולטיפרת ולתהילה
Dodi, likrat kala, ne
Shabbat Kabbalah lecha dodi likrat kala bnei Shabbat Kabbalah
שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה
ידיי מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה come beloved come בני שבת נקבלה הידיי לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קום מצאי בתוך החפכה הידי רב לך שבט בעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה לך דודי לקראת קלה come my bride come בני שבת קבלה ידיי לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה
התנערי מעפר קומי
לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי די ידי
על יד
ידי לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה ידי לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי awake awake התעוררי your light is coming בעורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה הידי לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה
בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה
בני שבת נקבלה לא
תבושי ולא תקמי
מה תשתוכחי ומה תחמי
אך יכסו
אני עמי בני בנתה עיר אל תלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה בהיולים שיסה שוסייך ברחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהי כמסוס חתן על כלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת
נקבלה
ימי
ושמאלתי בותי
יד אדוני
תריתי על יד בן עפרתי במשפחה
ונגילה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי
לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה
יאי
לי לי יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי לי לי
שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהלה בני שבת נקבלה יאי די די היי sing, our doors are portals. Boy beshalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, hu betzohala toch emunei, ham segula, boi chala, Shabbat hamalcha. Adodi li katkala b'nei Shabbat nekabala lechadodi li katkala b'nei Shabbat nekabala. And we sit in this house, and we sit in this house, and our hearts are lifted up by seeing, is there anyone who is in mourning? I look at the door and I see someone who might come in if they have just lost their loved one. And I don't see anyone coming in. And I'm relieved. I'm relieved that there's no one coming. Yes, let it be normal that we should just be supporting each other in Kaddish, but not today. Thank you for a relief. Yet we say, Ana elna refana la beharot la noam zivak az titchazek vetitrape והייתה לה שמחת עולם. אנה אל נא רפנה לה בהרות לה נועם זיווך. אז תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה לה שמחת עולם. Healing of body and soul, healing. We pray for healing.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
My teacher.
I want to welcome everybody to Romemu and especially welcome people who are new. So we'd love to hear from you if you've never been here before. Or maybe you've never been here in person before. How's that? Let's start with the room and then we'll go to the Zoom. So anyone in this room who is new has never been to this room for services before. Here you go. Welcome, welcome.
So our tradition, if you would like, is like to stand and tell us your name and see all these faces.
And where you're from. If Shabbat Shalom. Denise?
I live here in New York,
Where?
just a couple blocks down the road.
And it took you this long to get here?
She's in the neighborhood. She's in the neighborhood.
So, I don't know what else. I'm not good at public
You're good.
That's good. Welcome,
You
Denise.
did great, Denise. Welcome, welcome.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
May you come back many, many times. Anyone else in the room? Go ahead. Where in New York? Yay. And your name is Beth, you said? Becca, sorry. It's hard to hear with
Becca gets stripes. I mean, those of us who are here on this 4th of July weekend, we get extra stripes.
Definitely.
All right?
Definitely.
Big ones.
Okay, anyone else in the room? Yeah, wow, more new people than I thought.
Hi everyone, I'm Sydney.
Hi, Sydney.
My family comes here all the time, but I just moved back from Chicago, and so it's just an opportunity to
Oh, wonderful. Is your family here tonight?
I think they're on the Zoom.
They're on the Zoom. All right.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, welcome, Sydney. Anyone else? Okay, well, we'll come back to you to make sure. And now we'll go to the Zoom.
Yeah, we're going to the Zoom.
Okay. And do we see names in the chat for those who have never been here before? Hi, Zoom people. Hi, hi to the Zoomosphere. I want to hear from new people. I can't read the chat, so if anyone's placing their name in the chat, then I don't know it. Help?
Somebody put the chat on.
You know what? If you're new, maybe raise your hand. Pamela Shaw has attended Zoom a couple of times, but still feels new. That's what I'm guessing the end of that sentence is.
Yeah, and David Willinger is not new, but I see him.
He's got a new smile on tonight. Very nice smile. Okay, anybody else that is new? Leora. First time being here by Zoom, and I presume, Leora, wherever you are, I'd love to see your face, that you've never been here before in this room. Okay, I'm assuming not. Leslie, welcome, Leslie. And Elliot, did you have your name? Did you have your hand up? My imagination. Okay. Anyone else in the Zoom room? Well, welcome to everybody in Zoom. It's beautiful to see you. Tom wants to know who the soldier in the back is. Tom, our Israeli member, would like to know who the soldier is. God, Jonathan. So, did everyone hear that? Jonathan was helping out in Florida. Jonathan, thank you for doing that. I cannot imagine what that's been like. And is this your first time here, but you didn't want to tell us before? I see, that's a variety of accents, I see. Okay, well, welcome, welcome, and thank you for doing that work on behalf of all of us. Okay, anyone else? Iva's happy to see everybody. It's good to see you, Iva. All right, I think we are moving on. And I'm returning this here.
I'd like to, sorry, dear friends. I'd like to invite you, if you feel comfortable, to say hello to someone else in the room. I mean, how did we used to say hello? We used to actually go to each other and, again, please, whatever is comfortable for you. our Ma'ariv, the evening service, we rise. We rise so that we can bend. What is that? We rise so that we can yield. We rise not into a stiffness, but we rise into a gentleness, a breaking. We rise so that we are buoyant. We rise so that we're able to yield.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Settle into our neighborhood. Bruchat Shekhinah, blessed be our divine presence. Eloheinu ruach haolam asher bidvara ma'ariva aravim. To imagine the Holy One, blessed be, as being in our neighborhood, my presence close to me, enveloping me. ומעריבה יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה יד צבאות שמה אל החיה והקיימת תמיד תמלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוכת שכינה המעריבה ערבים Ahavat Olam. We are embraced by arms that find us. Ahavat Olam Beit Israel Amcha. Ahavat Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta. I love across space and time and soul.
כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, והם נגי יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל.
Whether we close our eyes or we cover our eyes, we are called to hear.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. מי כמוך
מי כמוך
באלים אדוני,
האלים אדוני,
מי כמוך
מי כמוך
נדר בקודש,
נהדר בקודש,
נורא
ראו בניך, לפני משה ומרים, כיפדה אדוני את יעקב,
הוא גאלו,
מי החזק ממנו,
מי החזק ממנו,
on this day, this time, this particular time, a magical time in New York City, these days before 4th of July, I really see this book from childhood, Faith Ringgold's book. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, Faith Ringgold's book, what was it like? I can't remember the title.
Tar Beach.
Tar Beach, yes. And lying down on rooftops, right, and seeing the sky and seeing the stars, this carpet of stars. Hashkivenu, indeed, I lie down in the peace under the author of the stars. לחיים.
ופרוס
פרוס
עלינו
עלינו סוכת שלומך.
תקננו
ותקננו
עצה טובה מלפניך והושיענו
למען שמך. והושיענו למען שמך. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל ירושלים. And we rise.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שב וינפש.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ילמד יגבח חירותי וימליך מלכותי.
בחייכון יום נכון ובחיי בכל בית ישראל
בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב בין ברור.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומן ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקודשה
בריחו
לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה
ואמרו
Amen. So in the Siddur in your hand, we have the silent Amidah on page 58, explore page 68, explore page 70, different kinds of meditations for this silent Amidah.
by the waters of Babylon.
Page
Where
72.
we sat down and where we wept when we remember Zion by the waters of Babylon where we sat down and where we wept when we remembered Zion. And the wicked carried us away to captivity, required of us a song. How can we sing our holy song in a strange land? And the wicked carried us away to captivity, required of us a song. How can we sing a holy song in a strange land?
So let
The words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Yah.
So
By the
let
waters of Babylon,
Babylon
Sat
where
down.
we sat down, and where we wept when we remembered Zion. By the waters of Babylon, where we sat down, and where we wept when we remembered Zion.
Zion.
This past Tuesday morning, my day started like any other day. I left the house at about 8 a.m. to walk my dog, Nancy, in Riverside Park. On the way down, the elevator stops at 6. I live on 14. My neighbor, Jeff, waves at me through the elevator window to see if it's okay if he gets in the elevator, a new post-pandemic habit. And I indicate that it would be fine. He gets in with his bike. Every day he would ride back and forth to work in Midtown. We chit-chat, mostly about my white mutt who was thrilled to share space with Jeff. He has walked her in the past as a kindness when our daughter was ill, part of a group of neighbors and friends that took care of our family when we really couldn't take care of ourselves. Nancy is so happy to share space with Jeff that she's furiously wagging her tail throughout the entire elevator ride. Jeff and I have always been friendly, and I've always enjoyed talking to him. He's a kind of understated guy with a wicked sense of humor, a creative, fiercely intelligent person, someone who understands the dark side of life and deals with it through humor. He and I like to banter, and somehow I always felt like we understood each other, a mutual understanding which I take as precious in this world. Much later that day, I was having dinner with friends on my roof, watching the sun set over the river. I received a text from a good friend with terrible news. Jeff was killed biking back home from work that day. He was hit by a mail truck. I was heartbroken for Jeff and his wife and his 2 grown sons. And since that night, I've been walking around feeling a bit stunned and more than a bit fragile, living with a heightened sense of life's precariousness. I mean, we all know this truth, that life is that precarious, but we can't really live our lives that way. right? How can we possibly, like if Jeff thought like this is my last day, he wouldn't have gotten in the elevator with his bike and rode over to work. Who amongst us, after a pandemic, after losing over 500,000 people in this country, who amongst us does not know that life is fragile? We know it, but then we don't know it because we can't live that way. But it's brought home to us again and again through national crises and personal loss. There's a phrase that caught my eye recently when I was reading about the coverage of the Champlain Tower that collapsed in Miami, that there are people whose jobs it is to keep buildings upright. Something we don't usually think about. I certainly don't. That the fact that buildings stay up rather than fall down is not a given. Until, that is, they stop standing upright. Until whole families are killed while sleeping in their beds and a building implodes all around them. How can we possibly live with that degree of precariousness? What wisdom does the Torah have to offer us about living with this kind of radical fragility? Right now, we're deep in the book of Numbers, the book of Bamidbar. In Hebrew, it means in the wilderness. And I think, in some sense, that's exactly where we're living. Right where the Israelites are, traveling in the wilderness of unknowns and uncertainty, profoundly aware of our own precariousness. Bamidbar, one could say, is the book of living precariously. The Israelites leave slavery to enter a terrifying wilderness. Here are their mantras. We're going to die. There's no water. There isn't enough food. We can't take listening to God's voice because we're going to die listening to it. Our enemies will destroy us. Take us back to Egypt. Again and again, they say, take us back to Egypt. It's hard to imagine just freed slaves wanting to go back to slavery. In fact, this trope begins in Egypt the minute they leave slavery, even before they walk through the Red Sea. They complain to Moses in Exodus 14, and they say, there were no graves in Egypt that you took us away to die in the wilderness? What is it that you have done to us, bringing us out of Egypt? Hamibli ein kvarim b'Mitzrayim l'kachtanu lamut b'midbar? Ma zot asita lanu l'hotzianu miMitzrayim? Trauma does not allow them to imagine a future, does not allow them to trust in God or in their leaders. No sense of safety, no imagination, no sense of an emerging collective vision, no belief in a promise. These freed slaves are sentenced to wandering around in the desert for 40 years until that generation dies out. They're not really fit for the promised land because they don't even believe in the promise. And then a new generation is born. But that doesn't end their problems. There's idolatry, conflict, petty rebellions. Anything. They'll engage in anything to avoid the experience of wilderness expansiveness, avoid their own anxiety. But in this parsha, there's one stunning story that reverses the trope, reverses the rhythm and the patterns. It's a story that's about 5 sisters, the daughters of Slofchad. There are no brothers in the family. And these courageous sisters insist on a portion in the promised land. Instead of looking backwards to Egypt, they look forwards. They believe in the promise and they want a stake in it. These 5 young women dare to come forward. They stand before Eleazar and the priests and before the chieftains and the entire congregation. I can barely stand standing before you. Could you imagine? And they demand a future, saying in Numbers 27, our father died in the desert, but he was not in the assembly that banded together against the Lord in Korach's assembly. He died for his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should our father's name be eliminated from his family because he had no son? Give us a portion along with our father's brothers. Give us a portion, these ancient women say. We deserve a portion. It's almost unthinkable.
These women show us that even in a moment of great transition, of great precariousness, one can move forward with courage and grace, with faith in an emerging story that has not yet been realized. They believe in their people's divine project and insist on having a part in it. They refuse to get lost in the patriarchy. And in so doing, in coming forward, in standing their ground and speaking out and challenging the system, they completely befuddled Moses. He has no idea what to do, so he turns to God. This is only one of 4 instances where Moses doesn't know what to do and turns to God in the entire Torah. And God says this to him: Slofchad's daughters, they speak justly. Give them, and it says that twice, give them a portion of inheritance along with their father's brothers, and you shall transfer their father's inheritance to them. Kain benot slofchad dovrot, na'ten titen lahem achuzot nachala betoch achei abihem, ve'ha'avarte et nachalat abihem lahem. Wow. God says yes. These women, they speak rightly, justly, goodly. These women are right, and what they say counts. Amidst all the anxiety and complaint in the wilderness, they speak truth. In the face of great fragility, these women believe in the collective fledgling story. They dare to rise up and speak before the whole community. They stand their ground and tell everyone their story and ask for what they need to make the promise real. And perhaps they even teach Moses a thing or two, because this story flows right into the story of God telling Moses to go up to the mountain where he will die. And that mountain is called Har Avarim. And that root of Avarim is really interesting. It's Ayin Bet Resh. And it means, it's from the word la'avor, to pass over, and connected to the word Hebrew, being an Ivri, one who passes over. So God tells Moses to stand on Transition Mountain, because he will now face his last transition and be gathered unto his people. And Moses has stopped begging to go into the promised land. Instead, what he asks for is a leader for his people, because he finally understands, he finally accepts death and understands that he's not going to go into the promise with his people. Sorry. Moses and the daughters of Slofchad show us how to be in the wilderness, how to live in this book of living precariously on this transition mountain. Even when we are teetering on the edge, we can come forward. We can stand our ground. We can insist on being part of the story of our people. We can dare to drive a stake in the ground of possibility. We can throw our lot into something larger than ourselves. We can live towards collective hope. To circle back to the beginning and Jeff, and the reason for my dog Nancy's happiness at being in the small elevator with Jeff, is Jeff understood something about living in a collective story. When my 16-year-old daughter was going through surgery and chemo and radiation, Jeff would walk Nancy regularly. Jeff understood himself to be part of a shared project with me, with my family, with our neighbors, a promise of kindness, of trying to make life a little bit better, a little bit easier for one another, especially when things got tough. Jeff's simple kindnesses has intertwined my life with his, has created a powerful braid of community that nothing can undo. So this is my bracha, my blessing for all of us tonight. This Shabbat, may we be like the daughters of Slofchad. May we come forward, state our case before our community, place our stake in the ground of our dream that is coming. May we insist on our inheritance. May we be like Moses, finding the courage to stand on this transition mountain and look into the future and advocate for those who will come after us. And finally, may we be like my neighbor Jeff, extending simple kindnesses to one another as we travel this difficult path. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. So at the end of Shemot Rabbah, right, the Midrash says that, all of this was in the hands of the Holy One, blessed be. But at the end of the book of Exodus, it is now passed on to us. Now it is in our hands. Well, we sort of skipped over Leviticus, but now in Bamidbar Rabbah, it is in our hands. And as we say, Aleinu, it is upon us. So we rise for Aleinu. It is upon us. This is our call to action. Ki Adonai, Hu Elohim, Shemo Echad. Say, it is said, like, Ke'ish Echad Velev Echad. We are like one heart, one people. We come to this part of our service, and we come for so many reasons. We come to hear, we come to say, we come to remind, we come to remember. We come to be in grief and to, for a moment, show our sorrow, to release, to hold space for others, to claim space for ourselves. This that you see, this that we will be doing, is our Jewish communal way of mourning. And this has been transformed into one marked by desolation and isolation and disconnect in this many 14 months or so. We cried and we moaned alone, and we said the blessings in our virtual gatherings. But today, it is a beautiful gift that we give to each other to be witness to our names. And it is still a beautiful gift that we can be together through our windows, each window an opening into lives and stories told and yet to be told. So I will come near you. I will put on my mask. If it is your privilege to say the name of your loved one whom you are mourning today. And then we'll go to our friends on Zoom. So if there's anybody who would like to share the names of their loved ones.
Lottie Schimberg.
I have three: my grandfather Leslie Axelrod, my friend Rick Jensen, and my friend Drew Nazaro.
My father, Michael Fricano Jr.
Jessica's father, Leo Litva. Herschel ben Shlomo Zalman, Laura's mother, Mimi Miriam bat Nachama, Bernard, Chaya, Hannah, bat Benjamin, Alice Macaras, Elizabeth McCann, and Abraham ben Harab Raphael. Carol's friend Lou Aronowitz, Paul Kagan, Penny's father, Hadassah Loeb, Roberta Lipman, Andy Neiman, Henry Lee, Adrian Lathan, Ori's mother, Gertrude Kaplan Clare, Zahava Bat Shmuel, Lazar Beetel, Sharon's aunt, Stella Turkman, her Zadie Sam Weisman, Fega Tova Bat Yoel, Chaim Meir, Buxbaum, Zalman Trappler. We remember Arthur Siegel and Jason Andrew Brodsky and Dr. Norman Crane, Solomon Marenberg and Cecilia Romo, Stuart Fred Fight and David Vanegrat, Kimberly Hall and David Silverstein, Ellen Ozeri, Shirley Siegel and Benjamin Wolf Telushkin. We remember Beth Baldridge and Deborah Stoll and Lee Brox, Jean Foreman Shore and Ellsworth Levine, Erwin Bardash and Mr. L.C. Floyd, Lynn Blacker, we remember, Shirley Gatzik, Grace Tan in Denmark, and my teacher, Rabbi Raphael Goldstein, our teacher, Maggie Dutzak Buxbaum, Brady Rifkin, Lorette Nierenberg, Barry Koski, Betty Levin, Reb Zalman, Susan Love Friedman, Charlotte Figman, and Stuart Savell. We remember Lily Zimmett, Julia Eisenberg, Shirley Marlowe, and Gretchen Drury, Michael Fricano Jr., and Nancy Triger, and Dr. Rabbi Henry Dicker, Robert Gerald Cohen, Angela Lam Margolis, Everett Dutchin. We remember Batya Ariel, Bat Abraham, and Kathy Maddie, Elizabeth Deegan and Ted Tennant, Eric Anthametin Dominguez, Susan McClanahan, Dr. Randy Baker, Just Lindberg, Iona Miller, and Eric Press. We remember Robin Robertson and Hank Wesselman. Deborah Freelander, we remember on their yard site, and Mona Lanzman, Zahaba Bat Shmuel, Laser Beetel. If it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, please rise with us. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Amen.
בעלמא דברי חירותי בימליך מלכותי בחיי חון ובימי חון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה.
בריחו.
לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
אמן.
תנחמו מן השמיים. May we find comfort in the heavens, comfort in Zion and Yerushalayim. Shabbat Shalom, dear friends.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Sweet Shabbos. To be able to hold someone we've wanted to hold each other. And let's relearn. Let's relearn how to do this. Yes. Yes, I will take my mask off. Thank you. Dear friends, I would like to say, into this cup of blessing, we need our blessings. Into this cup of blessing, first and foremost, a privilege. We don't do this often. This is Ariel Corman. Que te voy a decir? What can I say to you? We did this from the time she was 5 years old. Amen. And Perry Wolfman, into this cup of blessing, Perry Wolfman, same, 5 years old.
We grew up together.
Grew up together.
True, true.
His parents used to drop him off at, where the parents are with the children, and his parents went to the big service. So Perry Wolfman was his family. Rich Stein. Like I said, there are roots growing underneath this drum, and there is a way, for example, to say thank you to drummers in Africa. You get down on the ground and you beat on the ground. Into this cup of blessing, Jerry Corman, my partner in all dreaming and scheming. Into this cup of blessing, Natalia Arad and Justin Siegel and our team on sound, and Elliot and Matt and Anthony. I'm missing someone. Fix me now. Yes?
Cyrus, thank you.
Cyrus, thank you. Into this cup of blessing, Rabbi Diane Kohler-Esses, opening up our Torah reading and Full Stack NY, yes, Anthony Elliott and Cyrus. On site also Freddie Diaz back with us, and a remote team, Rebecca Feldman and Ari Wharton. Welcome, welcome to our team. And this is us, Rabbi David Ingber. Rabbi David Ingber is on vacation. Rabbi David Ingber is still in the house. Rabbi will always be in the house because this is the house that he has built. And Rabbi Janice Elster, Rabbi Scott Perlow, that's me, and that is Chazan Basia Schechter holding fort in Fire Island. Our Romemu programming team, this is us, Elisa and Rebecca and Michaela from Belgium, and Michaeli, who's local, and Ari, welcome, Elisa and Danny Apple. I know Danny Apple. And Lior Tannenbaum. It's a small world, a Jewish world, very small world. Behave, everybody behave. Be your best. And Gabby Barton, Emily, Jeff, Khan, Sarah, Romemu Yeshiva, Annie Woo, Romemu Yeshiva, Abby Goldstein, Max, Sebastian, Deborah, and Ariel Rosen Ingber, keeping us moving forward. Into this cup of blessing, we rise. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי
מלאכתו
אשר עשה
וישפוט
ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה
ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
ברי חבריי.
לחיים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
אמן.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו.
בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו.
זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן. לחיים.
עולם חסד ייבנה עולם חסד ייבנה
Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
I will build this world from love. And you must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos.
Wear those stripes proudly when you go out on the streets.